have here a member of Old Dominion and a new artist. Let's put it that way. New artist, Brad Tursi.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, man. A little tired. It was a big day yesterday. A big night, big day. But I'm hanging in there. It could have been worse. Let's say that. I mean, I woke up feeling a whole lot worse than I did this morning.
It could. Here's the thing, because you said we're gonna start this off because yesterday it was a private event, invitation only, to the debut of Parallel Love. How does that feel? How did that make you feel?
You know, it's funny. I was talking to some people after the show, and for the tens of thousands of times I've done that exact same thing, with other bands and with Old Dominion, and every single step of the way felt like it was the first time that I was doing it. Like, it was just such a strange feeling. Like going backstage, I'm like, this is my this is my thing. This is it. Like walking up the stage. It just like it's hard to describe. It felt like totally brand new in a strange way.
It's refreshing, though.
Oh yeah,
it's refreshing. So, what made you want to release this album?
Just over the course of the years in town, I've just written so many songs, and kind of what I bring to Old Dominion, and my influences are just more along the lines of, like, I really love acoustic guitar. I like James Taylor. I like that kind of stuff. So, there's a lot of songs that I've either co-written or I started more and more just writing by myself. Stuff that I just want to say that I know is not going to be right for the band. And at this particular time, I had the kind of ways and means to just do it and pay for it. And it was just kind of like a passion project,
It's crazy. You say like how you influence what you bring to the table for Old Dominion. Mm-hmm. There was one song last night. I can't remember the name of the song, but there was one song last night that I swear to God could have been an Old Dominion hit.
Oh yeah.
I forget what it is. It might have been the Church Bells and Whistles.
That's the one song that I actually tried to get the band to record, but that we didn't record it.
Really?
Yeah.
That should have happened.
Dude, I tried. I did the best I could. It's a democracy.
Because when you were singing it, it's one of those where I can hear Matt sing it. I can hear the whole Old Dominion vibe to the song.
Yeah.
And it's co-written by Stephen Wilson Jr.
Yes.
Love him.
He's the best.
He was there last night.
I know, he was just, doing what you're not supposed to do. Text and drive on the way. I was responding to him, he just texted me, but he's such a talented guy and sweet guy, nice, funny guy. I mean, it's great.
So what new writers are you looking into? Because I'm sure you keep you write all the time, so I'm sure you keep your ear to the ground.
Well, I actually signed my first writer last year, he was an artist for a moment, Ross Ellis.
Yes.
Who is just he's such a fantastic dude, and he's got one of the best voices. I probably listened to like his demos as much as I listened to Paul Simon or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I just love listening to his music. So I signed him with Universal with my publisher. So I've been just writing with him a lot. I love writing with him.
It's killer. That's killer. He is. I've actually had a cigar here with him before.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice.
Like a long time ago. Yeah. Definitely before COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely before COVID. It feels like a lifetime ago. But so that's all. So let's go back to this album here. Parallel Love.
Yes.
God, man, you have a song on there called "Lover and Friend."
Mm-hmm.
Lover and a Friend.
That was my favorite one last night. It was really fun to.
It was so good. The guitar solo at the end is like, and you can tell how the band really got into it.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, what was the inspiration behind that?
Honestly, that song in particular, I think I was listening to an artist, Nick Lowe. I don't know if you know that. Like he's he's been around for since the '70s and whatever. But there was a song that he had. It's the first line is like, "You look like butter could melt in your mouth." And then he's this like big ass space. He's like, I know you do. And like all this like super like spaced out lines. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So that's kind of just like when I was picking up the guitar that particular day, and I was like, I can't stop thinking about you, baby. Like super spaced out.
Yeah.
So that's, and then I mean, I don't know, the words just kind of
just came flow.
Yeah. I started from the beginning, and it just kind of ended up on that.
Now I bring that up because not only are we now celebrating in the last 24 hours, a lot has happened, as we said. We are not only just celebrating the release of Parallel Love, but you have found your lover and a friend.
I have.
Ms. Roxy King.
Yes.
You are newly engaged, my friend.
I know. Thank you. It took me 44 years. Finally did it.
We were saying earlier how like, we both never thought you would settle down.
I tried a couple times, but I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, man, it's just, she's such a fantastic woman, and I just feel like I've learned so much about my, I feel like this is gonna get a little deep or whatever, but like, in the past, whenever something was wrong or I felt like a relationship. I mean, some of the relationships were wrong and they were not right, but like, I'd always be thinking like, oh, it's some problem like outwards. You know what I mean? Like something, this person's not right, or this person doesn't do this for me or fulfill this for me or whatever. But the past few years, I've just started doing a lot of just kind of meditation and self,
reflection.
Yeah, and going, you know what? I think maybe it's my freaking problem. Like, I think maybe I'm the one that needs to chill out. Or like, just kind of start to, when you feel anxious or you feel this way, it's like, it's actually something that you deal with.
Yeah, and it's hard to, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
For us, especially as men.
Yeah.
That is a hard pill to swallow. I just had to swallow that same pill in therapy. So
yeah, oh dude.
But I had to swallow that same pill. But it's definitely a hard pill to swallow because now you're looking at yourself and you're going back and you're like, well, what could I have done differently, or what could I,
right? Even like the girl I used to date, she would say, oh, I feel anxious, I have anxiety, and I'm like, I'd be like, about what? Like, what do you? She's like, nothing. Like, and now I wish I could go back and be like, I'm sorry, I know what you mean. like there's no reason, you just feel like, yeah.
You just feel it. There's no reason. Yeah. But no, I am extremely happy for you guys.
Right, I go.
I love Roxy. Roxy's a sweetheart.
Oh, she's great, man. She
is. I like to call her the future of this business.
Man, I think you're right. She's been getting a lot of job offers and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, let's do this. I'm ready to retire.
She is killing it, and I'm loving every minute about it for her. She is badass.
Yeah, she works so hard, and she takes a lot of pride in what she does, and it's nice to have someone that has their own thing and their own independence, and we can both help each other in career. I can, some things that I've already gone through, I can kind of help her, and I can lean on her, and it's to be like, what is this cool? I'm old now. I don't know if this is cool. He's like, no, don't do that picture. Do this one. I'm like, okay, it looked the same to me.
Okay, so now we're talking about relationship. So what's the age difference?
I am 44 and she is 28.
Okay, so how have you dealt with the age difference?
I mean,
because obviously looking out, people are like, oh, what the hell? Like what?
Right.
It's like,
I'm lucky in the sense that she, as a 28-year-old, is one of the most mature, emotionally people that I've ever met. And she's just so mature in that way. And I mean, look, so that is nice. Of course, there are times when, she'll be on the, she's lands in London. She's like, "Oh, I watched Top Gun on the plane," and I said, "Which one?" And she was like, "I don't know, just the one." I guess she's talking about the second one, you know? Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, fucking Jesus." Sorry, Roxy.
Oh, that's funny.
So, but
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, sometimes that would be like, oh, like whatever, she doesn't get this or doesn't get that.
Yeah.
But now it's like, again, you start looking at yourself and go, it's not her fault. She's young. She's young. Like, so it's like, well, let me just tell her about it,
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's great. That's freaking great. Yeah. All right, so let's go back to this music here. Let's just go back to this music. Why now?
Man,
because it's like you're succeeding. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is a passion project, but I guess the better question is, what the hell took so long?
I was scared. No, I mean, honestly, look, I made it. I gave it to our manager and the label, Taylor Lindsay, and I just said, hey, I made this, and they were like, they responded like, this is incredible. Like, what's your plan? And, I said, honestly, if you guys didn't like it, that was the end of my plan. I was just going to send it to my mom and call it a day. I wasn't really planning on pitching it around and trying to do it, but if I was going for the path of least resistance, and as soon as I felt any resistance, I was going to give up. Oh. But they liked it, and everyone just kind of been I've just felt a lot of energy around it, and for me, it's I'm still, Old Dominion is still put first.
Correct.
And but it just feels like such a nice avenue and of freedom of expression to do this, and it's I can do it now because number one, if nobody likes it or nobody comes to the show, oh well, I just go back and to what I'm doing. So it's not like my life is depending on it.
Exactly.
Which is a fortunate place to be in.
Yeah. You think anybody else in the band is doing a solo?
Not that I heard. I mean, I don't know.
I think you might have started.
I'm the first one out of the gate. Jeff's making a solo bass record. I don't know.
You might have started a whole new one.
Jeff did. He's producing a new artist. I don't know what their name is, but he was working on producing, and look, I'm all for it. It's like the bands that we grew up, Pearl Jam, the Eagles, Tom Petty, all these bands. You can't play music with the same people forever and ever and ever. Even Mick Jagger and Keith Richards, they're making their own.
Yeah. I think here's the thing. I think that when you look at those bands, they go away, they come back, they go away, they come back. But it's it's definitely where it's I feel like that could have fixed Bon Jovi.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, it's I mean, look, it's a miracle that any band. I mean, that we're still together, and we're happy and we work together, and you just got to be. You got to be grateful. You can look at it in a million different ways. You know what I mean?
So are some of these songs going to be put into the set list for Old Dominion?
I mean, I don't think so, unless people start screaming them out in the crowd or something. But I don't have any plan for that. I like to keep church and state separated.
I mean, you never know. I mean, I know you guys do in part of your sets. You guys do or you used to do, where you guys do around and you play songs that you've written.
Oh yeah, we used to do that. We've kind of stepped away from it. It's just I don't know. You can only live on that for so long, and then we can. We also got to have some more hits. We can't be playing, Guy Walks Into a Bar forever, or whatever. People are like, I don't even know this song. No, I don't see that happening, man. I mean, way back in the beginning of the band, I thought, oh, maybe, what I did, maybe we could have been a band that did that, more of an Eagles thing. But that's just not the way that it worked out, which is fine. I mean, I'm not holding any resentment, and in some ways, it's been a blessing that I can do this just by myself, and it takes me out because, I remember I was talking to Charles Kelly And I sent him this project a couple months ago, and he was just like, "Oh man, this is great." He goes, "It's just so nice to come from something, artistically and just do, because he's in a band too, and after a while, because it's a democracy, which makes it what it is.
Correct.
You can only builds up a little, resentment, and sometimes in facts where, look, not everything goes your way all the time, and that's okay. That's that's part of being in a band, is learning how to accept that and go, you know what, maybe I'm wrong, or I didn't get my way this time. That's okay.
Right.
But I get my way every time in this project, which is it's a different experience.
Different experience.
Yeah.
Different experience. There was another song that was I can't remember the name of it, but it was another song that was it felt like it was very old school country.
Oh yeah, with Tranny Anderson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I'm picturing while you were up there singing it, I'm picturing Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
Singing it.
Yeah.
With someone next to him. I'm just like the melodic and the cadence of what you were singing at, it seemed like it could have been a Willie Nelson song.
Yeah, that's a great compliment. I appreciate that.
And it's like, okay, why don't we give that song to Willie Nelson? I was listening to your set last night. One, highly impressed, but two, like, oh, that could be a hit. That could be a hit. That could be a hit. And I'm like, then like I said, when the church bells and and train whistles, I'm like, that's definitely Old Dominion. Yeah. But so what was the name of the song that you and Train?
Oh, it's called Parallel Love. That's
Parallel Love. Okay. How did that write and how did that sound come together? How did you pick that to be your debut title?
Well, the title track, I think it came about because, obviously after I made it, I'm like, okay, I know I got to think of a name for this thing, and the obvious way to go is, okay, look at the song titles, which one seems like it could be right, and nothing was really poking its head out. But then, Parallel Love is a concept that I was reading about in one of these self help books, and just talking about how when you're with another person, I think was speaking romantically, that a lot of times people think they're supposed to intertwine and then that's it. They're together. They do everything like, they can't live without each other. But in reality, you don't want to lose yourself when you're with somebody. It's like you want to be able to still be your other person, and you grow up you're there for each other, supporting each other. Sometimes you're going to see eye to eye, sometimes you're not going to. So, you're parallel up together. And then I just thought, well, that kind of actually runs through everything, because it's like, look, the songs, some of them are about being a musician. And, musically, you grow together, bands, people, friendship is another thing, which is the same thing. There's old friends that you talk to a lot, sometimes you don't. Yeah. And it just seems like a kind of a common thread for all the themes.
I'm listening to you, and I'm all I can hear in my head is when Will Smith said, "Your happiness depends on you."
Yeah.
It doesn't depend on your wife. Doesn't depend on your husband.
Exactly.
It depends on you. So I think that goes along with the parallel love.
Yeah.
Only you can't make your significant other happy.
Right, and
it's not like your job for them to be happy.
And it's not their job to make you happy.
Correct.
It's like they're just doing their thing. You know what I mean? It's like, and I remember watching Instagram. I have one of these like those Indian guru guys. He's sitting there. He's like, hey, you could sit here and be totally miserable, or I could sit here and be really happy. It's like the same thing is happening around me. It's just all of what I think about, how I react to it.
Right. Right. And that's love. That's life.
Right. And that's learning how to, take some responsibility for yourself and realize that person is not making you unhappy. You're making yourself unhappy. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Comes with the whole like, it's not you, it's me.
Yeah. But that song, in particular, I just, I gravitate always, like when I'm at home, I'm having like there's acoustic guitars everywhere. I don't play electric guitar really at home ever.
Yeah.
So I'm always, and I just liked that riff, that like that in the the acoustic part in Parallel Love, and and the song it has a very country sound. So it's I think I had a good bit of the chorus already written, and then I just took it into Dan Isbell. One day we were scheduled to write it. He's an old friend of mine. We've known each other for 15 years, back when none of us had anything going on. And he's just, salt of the earth guy, like, he's just the country as they come, so when, some of that verse stuff, like, I'm in the fences, you tend the garden, I'm like, oh shit.
So good.
It was such an amazing day writing that song with him, like, it was like we were just catching up, and then like, oh, how about this song? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm catching up. I'm like, oh, what about this? Oh, fuck yeah! It's like easy day, It was nice.
It's amazing how songs just come to you.
It is. Today we tried to write with Matt and Trevor and Josh Osborne. We didn't end up getting a song today.
No.
We tried for 3 hours.
Some days it's like that.
What I gotta say though. Of the whatever 50-something songs I write, times I try to I actually probably try more than that, but there's like only probably one hand a year that you don't get any song.
Really?
Yeah, and it's okay. Sometimes you just don't. But
is that a humbling moment for you?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think that just the more we do it, even like today. I mean, of course, we were probably a little disappointed, but
yeah.
What are you going to do? I mean, sometimes it just doesn't happen. Because there's many mornings I'll sit by myself and, sometimes something comes out and sometimes it doesn't. And that's okay,
It's an up and down road with writing.
Mm-hmm. And you're always like, you always think, oh shit, maybe this is the last one, man, I suck now. And then, it just keeps showing up. And then one day, bang, another one just comes like,
So I would be remiss not to ask this, but new music coming out from OD?
Yeah, well, we got, our Coming Home just came out.
Coming Home just came out.
So, we got to get our butts back in there. And we recorded one other thing, for whatever is coming out next. There's another project that is coming out that I don't know if I'm allowed to freaking say anything about it, so whatever. It's but yes, there's always something.
There's always something.
You got to feed the mill here, feed the beast.
Yeah. Here's the question for you. You've been in this business for you said last time 25 years in the making.
Mm-hmm.
25 years in the making. You have any regrets?
Not in this business. No. If I had one regret, which I can't even really call it a regret, I used to be really into soccer. I was a pretty good soccer player, and I was on the state team and then regional team, and then they do pool trainings, and then out of that they pick the national team. And I made the pool training every night, but I didn't make the team because I was, first of all, getting drunk in the dorm room, like an idiot, like I didn't really. And the guy told my coach, his conditioning wasn't that good. So it was like, I could have. Maybe if I didn't fuck off, I could have. That could happen, but then I wouldn't, be here. So, and I think I just have to be. I have no regrets as far as the music career goes. It's just.
I mean, you succeed.
Yeah.
You succeed.
Well, it's funny because I was like, we came from the days where you got to get in the van and you got to like get out there and play bazillion. I don't even know how. When I think back, I'm like, I don't know how I did that or survived that. And then, but now it's like people just throw up some shit on TikTok, and it's like, I met this one kid the other day, like at a big festival, and like, man, like Roxy was working with him, and I was like, oh, nice to meet you. He's like, oh, this is our first festival, and I was like, oh, cool, like this summer, like where? And he's like, no, ever, like this is like my 6th show of all time, all time, and I'm like, it's just crazy, like.
I'm not going to say any names, but there is an artist who's signed he's now a major artist, and the year that he blew up, and he played in Nashville, and it might have been his 3rd time ever playing.
Yeah.
Because he went viral on TikTok.
Right, and I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, it's easy to be like, oh, these fucking young guys or whatever, but it's like, honestly, there is a certain, it's a great time for music, for people to be able to get their music out there without anyone getting in their way, you know? And the people speak what the people like, they like, whether you like it or not doesn't really matter.
That's very true. It's very true.
You know? But I do think, man, sometimes I'm like, well, even last night, like, I couldn't even handle the 2 guitars. I hadn't had to put my own guitar on myself in 10 years. I'm like all tangled up in the guitar. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
No one told you the guitar was still wrapped in the front of the fretboard.
Right. That's right. And I thought to myself during that, I'm like, if this was like my 3rd show, I would be like, the world is coming to an end right now. Like I'm blowing my opportunity here or whatever. And I it's like, but I think that comes with just experience. Like, oh, who cares? It's just like, untangle it and fucking go on with your life.
Yeah, look, that was probably the funniest moment.
Yeah, I was like, how many people already knew that would happen? No one said anything.
Cheney goes, I did.
Whatever. I pulled it off, right? I must have said something funny. I don't know.
You pulled it off. It was the whole thing. The whole thing from beginning to end. The set was great. I walked in not realizing if you were going to do the entire set list, the entire album track list or not. And you started off with "Oh Darling."
Yeah.
And then you did the outro, "Oh Darling," and I'm like, man, that is really good.
Thank you. Thanks.
That is really good. Well, man, thank you for taking your time out today.
Oh, my pleasure. This is a good way to do an interview.
This is the whole thing. Love it. These are my favorites.
Yeah, they're great.
Crown Heads.
Crown Heads, yeah. I mean, they got so many cigars.
I'll get you a box.
Oh, thank you.
I'll get you a box.
What a guy.
What a guy. I'll get you a box.
Thank you, man.
That's not a big deal. I'll get you a box. It's not a big deal. This has been another interview and another episode for Country Line TV and Spoken Section Podcast with the one, the only Brad Tursi. Go check out Parallel Love, which is out now.